I am grateful for everything. Morning gratitude moments for wealth and prosperity. There is something happening inside you right now that most people will never understand. While the world is rushing to become more, to get more, to chase more, a rare kind of person stops. And in that stillness, they discover something that changes everything. Not a secret, not a trick, not a shortcut. A shift. A shift so subtle that most people walk past it every single day without ever noticing it. Is the very thing standing between them and the life they keep asking for. You felt something when you pressed play today. Maybe you did not know what it was. Maybe it felt like curiosity. Maybe it felt like a quiet pull, the kind you do not question, you just follow. That pull was not random. That pull was your mind already beginning to orient toward what is real, what is available, and what is already yours. This is not about positive thinking. This is not about forcing yourself to feel something you do not feel. This is not about pretending the hard things are not hard. This is about seeing clearly. Because when you see clearly, gratitude is not a practice you force. It is the natural response to what is already in front of you. And here is what most people do not know about gratitude for wealth and prosperity. It is not about celebrating what you have so you can feel better about what you do not have. It is about rewiring how your brain processes reality, so that the version of you who receives more becomes the version of you who shows up. Neuroscientists have studied this. People who practice deliberate gratitude do not just feel better, they think differently. Their attention shifts, their decisions shift, and their life slowly, powerfully, inevitably shifts. That is why you are here. Not to listen to words, to let these words become a part of how you move through the world. So take a breath, a real one, slow and deep. Let your shoulders drop, let your jaw unclench. Let this moment be exactly what it is. Because this moment is the beginning of something. And beginnings always feel like this. Quiet, uncertain, slightly electric. Let us begin. I am grateful for this morning because not everyone woke up to it. That truth alone is enough to stop you in your tracks if you let it. Somewhere in the world, someone did not get today. They did not get the chance to feel the weight of the blanket, hear the first sound of the day, or take that first imperfect step towards something better. But you did. You woke up. And that is not small. That is not ordinary. That is the foundation on which everything else is built. Morning gratitude is not about the morning being perfect. It is about recognizing that being here is already the miracle. I am grateful for the breath in my body because it means my story is still being written. Every single breath is an agreement between your body and the universe that your time is not finished. Every inhale is an invitation. Every exhale is a release. And most of us do this 30,000 times a day without once pausing to honor the miracle of it. Your body has been working for you. longer than you have been paying attention. Through stress and grief and confusion and celebration, it kept going. It kept breathing. It kept beating. It kept carrying you forward. That deserves gratitude. Deep, real, unhurried gratitude. I am grateful for the mind that is shifting right now. You may not feel it yet, but something is already loosening inside you. The tight grip of yesterday is releasing. The heavy narrative of not enough is beginning to dissolve. Because gratitude and scarcity cannot coexist in the same breath. They cannot occupy the same mental space at the same time. When you choose to see abundance, you are not choosing to be naive. You are choosing to be accurate. Because abundance is not what you are trying to create. It is what you are learning to recognize. I am grateful for everything I used to take for granted. The roof over your head, the water that runs when you turn the tap, the food that exists in your kitchen, the phone or screen through which you are receiving these words, the electricity, the language, the fact that someone, somewhere, cared enough to create something that might reach you on a morning when you needed it. These things are so woven into daily life that the mind stops seeing them. But a mind that stops seeing them also stops receiving them fully. And a mind that stops receiving fully starts to feel like there is never enough. Gratitude for the ordinary is the secret to experiencing the extraordinary. I am grateful for the challenges that shaped me without destroying me. This one takes courage to say, because the challenges were real. The pain was not imagined. The nights you lay awake wondering if things would change were not performances. They were moments of real human struggle. And yet here you are. You are not where you were. You are not who you were. Every single hard moment left a deposit in you. Resilience, perspective, the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you can survive what feels uncertain. That is wealth. Not the kind that shows up in a bank account, although that kind matters too. But the kind that no one can take. The kind built from experience and earned through endurance. I am grateful for the setbacks that protected me from paths that were not mine. There are chapters you thought were failures that were actually redirections. There are no answers that were actually protecting you from the wrong yes. There are relationships that ended that were making room for something truer. There are job opportunities that fell through that were pushing you toward the work you were actually built for. You could not see it then. You were not supposed to see it then. But looking back now, even slightly, you can trace the pattern. You can see how the closed doors kept you moving toward the door that was always meant to open. That is not accident. That is alignment. I am grateful for the people who believe in me even when I forgot to believe in myself. Think about them for a moment. Not the people who celebrated you when you were performing well, but the ones who stayed when you were not your best. The ones who saw something in you that you could not see in the mirror. The ones whose belief in you became a bridge you walked across when you had nothing else to hold on to. Those people are wealth, the kind you carry with you, the kind that multiplies when you offer it to others. I am grateful for the people who challenged me because they revealed something I needed to know. Not everyone who shaped you was gentle. Not everyone who contributed to your growth intended to. Sometimes the sharpest growth comes from friction. From the person who did not believe you could do it. From the situation that forced you to dig deeper than you knew how to dig. From the conflict that made you face something you had been avoiding. Gratitude is not about pretending those experiences felt good. It is about reclaiming their meaning. It is about standing in the present and saying, "That happened and I am still standing. And because of that, I am more." I am grateful for the sunrise I almost did not stop to notice. There is a version of this morning where you moved straight from waking to the screen, to the schedule, to the stress. There is a version where this whole day happened without a single moment of presence, without a single breath that was taken on purpose. But you chose differently. You chose this. You chose to stop, to listen, to let these words slow you down enough to feel what is real. That choice is rare, and it is not a small thing. The sunrise happened today whether anyone watched it or not, but you watching it, even metaphorically, changes what the day becomes. Because a day that begins with intention is a different kind of day. A day that begins with gratitude is a different kind of life. I am grateful for the quiet that teaches me to listen to myself. Noise is everywhere. The world is designed to pull your attention outward, toward the urgent, toward the loud, toward the thing that demands your immediate response. Most people spend their entire lives reacting, moving from one urgency to the next without ever pausing to hear the voice underneath all of it. The voice that knows what you actually want. The voice that recognizes when something is wrong before your mind catches up. The voice that has been trying to guide you toward your best life, but gets drowned out in the noise of a day that never stops. Silence is not empty. Silence is where you find yourself. And finding yourself is the beginning of everything. I am grateful for laughter because it reminds me that joy is not a reward for getting everything right. Joy is available right now. It does not wait for the promotion or the relationship or the number in the account. It exists in the moment, in the unexpected, in the ridiculous and the beautiful and the ordinary. Laughter is proof that the human spirit is resilient, that even in the middle of complicated lives, something in us wants to find a light. Something in us is still capable of being caught off guard by something funny. Something in us remembers that being alive is also supposed to feel like something wonderful. Do not be too serious to laugh, even today, especially today. I am grateful for tears because they mean I have loved deeply enough to grieve. There is a lie that says strong people do not cry, that emotional control means emotional absence, that the goal is to feel less. But you know better. You have probably cried at something that caught you off guard and felt more alive in that moment than you had in weeks. Because tears are not weakness. They are the body's way of processing what the mind cannot hold. They are release. They are proof that you care. They are evidence of depth. The people who feel deeply are not the fragile ones. They are the ones who are fully alive. I am grateful for my body because it has carried me through more than I have ever stopped to thank it for. Your body has done extraordinary things. It has healed from injuries you thought would leave permanent damage. It has kept functioning through nights with no sleep and days with no proper nutrition. It has processed grief and absorbed stress and still shown up. It has done this without asking for your appreciation, without requiring your acknowledgement, without stopping when you forgot to take care of it. Today, you are acknowledging it. Today, you are sending it gratitude instead of criticism. Today, you are choosing to be in relationship with your body as a partner instead of a problem to be managed. That shift in relationship with your body changes more than you know. I am grateful for my past because it gave me tools I did not know I was collecting. Every version of you that existed before this moment was gathering something. Every awkward conversation built communication. Every failure built discernment. Every heartbreak built empathy. Every time you got back up, you were building the muscle of resilience. You did not know you were building. You thought you were just surviving. But survival is a kind of education, and the education you received from your own lived experience is more valuable than anything you could have been taught in a classroom. You are not your past, but you are equipped by it, and that is something to be deeply, genuinely grateful for. I am grateful for my future because it is not yet written, and that means I still have everything to create. The future is not a fixed destination. It is a space of possibility, and that possibility does not shrink as you age. It expands as you grow, because who you are becoming is someone more capable of receiving what you are calling in. The version of you who has the wealth you want is not a different person. It is a more aligned version of this person. An alignment is not achieved through force. It is achieved through the kind of slow, intentional shifting that happens when you do things like this. When you stop, when you choose to see differently, when you decide that your inner world matters enough to tend to. Your future is grateful for the work you are doing right now. I am grateful for every no that came before the yes that changed everything. There is timing in life that you cannot control, but you can trust. The no that felt like rejection was preparation. The door that would not open was not your door. The thing that did not work was not supposed to work yet, because you are not yet the person who could receive it fully. When the yes arrives, and it will arrive, it will fit in a way that none of the no situations ever could, because the no situations were not mistakes, they were the road, and the road brought you here. I am grateful for every yes that arrived at exactly the right moment. You know the moments, the ones that felt like alignment, the ones that arrived when you had stopped forcing and started trusting, the ones that came through unexpected channels and landed in your life and changed the direction without you even seeing it happening. Those moments exist. They have already existed in your life, and they will exist again. Gratitude for those moments does not just honor the past, it opens the pathway for more of them. I am grateful for clarity even when it arrives slowly and imperfectly. Clarity is rarely a lightning bolt. Usually it is a gradual brightening, a slow turning of the light, a process of elimination, an experience and honest reflection that eventually leaves you standing in front of something obvious that you could not see before. And the moments before clarity arrives, the uncertain and confusing ones, those are not wasted time. Those are the forming time, the processing time, the time when something that could not be forced was being built naturally at its own pace. Trust the pace of your clarity. I am grateful for the healing I did not know I needed until I started receiving it. There are wounds that you carry so long they begin to feel like personality. They feel like just how you are, just how you respond, just how you see yourself and the world. And when healing begins to enter those places, it can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, because something that has been there for years does not leave quietly, but it does leave. And on the other side of that leaving is more room, more space, more capacity to receive love, opportunity, connection, abundance. Healing is not just emotional. Healing is the prerequisite for everything you are trying to build. I am grateful for the version of me that kept going when it would have been easier to stop. There were moments, you know the ones, when the exhaustion was real and the progress was invisible and the doubt was loud, when the rational choice might have been to stop, when stopping would have made complete sense and no one would have blamed you. But you did not stop. Something in you kept moving, not always with enthusiasm, not always with certainty, but forward, always forward. That version of you deserves to be honored today, not with elaborate ceremony, but with the acknowledgement that it mattered, that the decision to continue changed what became possible. I am grateful for intuition because it has led me somewhere logic alone never could have reached. There are decisions that do not make rational sense but feel completely right. There are choices that cannot be justified by spreadsheet or strategy but carry a certainty that is deeper than thought. There are moments when everything external says one thing and something internal says something else entirely. And the times you listened to that internal voice, the times you trusted the knowing that had no explanation, those were often the times that led to your most significant breakthroughs. Intuition is not irrational. It is information that exists below the level of conscious analysis, and honoring it is one of the most intelligent things you can do. I am grateful for contrast because it has made me precise about what I actually want. You would not know warmth if you had never been cold. You would not recognize peace if you had never experienced chaos. You would not value clarity if you had never been lost. The difficult experiences do not exist despite being part of your path. They exist because they are part of your path. Contrast is the teacher, and what it teaches is specificity. Every hard experience refined your understanding of what you are building toward. Every wrong thing made the right thing more recognizable. That is a gift. A painful, necessary, clarifying gift. I am grateful for progress because I have learned that it is almost never linear and almost always real. Progress hides. It disappears below the surface for months and then reveals itself all at once in a moment that seems sudden but was actually inevitable. It works quietly when you are not watching. It builds in the background while you are doing the ordinary things of an ordinary life. And then one day you look back and cannot believe how far you have come. That day will come for you. It may be closer than you think. And on that day, you will be grateful for every ordinary moment that secretly contained progress you could not see yet. I am grateful for resilience because it has made me into someone I genuinely respect. Resilience is not a trait you are born with. It is a quality that is forged. And every time life tested you and you came through, the resilience deepened. Every time the difficulty was real and the recovery was hard and you moved forward anyway, you were becoming someone more solid, more capable, more unshakable. That person, the one you have become through everything, is someone worth being. I am grateful for faith because it showed up when logic had nothing left to offer. There are places in life where analysis cannot help you, where the data is incomplete and the outcome is unknown, and the only available tool is trust. Trust in the process. Trust in yourself. Trust in something larger that you cannot see or prove, but somehow, in the quiet, honest moments, you cannot deny. Faith is not certainty. Faith is the choice to keep moving towards something, even when you cannot see the path clearly. And that choice, made consistently, is one of the most powerful forces in a human life. I am grateful for alignment because I have felt it and I know it is real. You have felt it. The moments when everything clicked. When the right opportunity arrived at the right time. When the conversation you needed to have happened naturally without you engineering it. When the idea you were ready for finally arrived. When life felt like it was flowing instead of fighting. That is not luck. That is alignment. And alignment is not something that happens to you. It is something you create through how you think, what you believe, and who you are choosing to become. Gratitude is one of the most direct pathways to alignment that exists. I am grateful for the blessings that have not arrived yet because they are already in motion. This requires a particular kind of trust. Not the passive trust of someone waiting to be handed something, but the active trust of someone who understands that what they are building toward is already responding to them. That the life they are growing into is already sending its first signals. What are those signals in your life right now? The small things that feel like hints, the conversations that feel like preparation, the ideas that keep arriving, the opportunities that seem to be gathering just below the visible surface. Those things are real, and they are for you. I am grateful for wealth and prosperity that flows through me as a natural expression of who I am becoming. Wealth is not something that arrives and replaces you. It is something that flows through you when you are aligned with your own value, your own purpose, and your own capacity to receive. Most people block abundance. not through lack of effort, but through a deeply held belief that they are not the kind of person who gets to have it. You are the kind of person you always were, and every choice you make toward becoming more yourself, more aligned, more genuinely present to what is real and beautiful and possible, is a choice toward the prosperity that is waiting for you. I am grateful for every morning I get to begin again. There is mercy in the morning, a reset, a quiet offering from time itself that says, whatever yesterday was, today is different. Today the slate is not wiped clean in the sense that consequences disappear, but in the sense that your orientation is new. Your capacity for choice is new. Your opportunity to show up differently is completely fresh. Not everyone takes that offering. Many people carry yesterday into today and last, year into this year, and the old version of themselves into the new life they keep saying they want. But not you. Not today. Today you are choosing to begin. I am grateful for the courage to be seen. There is a particular fear that almost everyone carries. The fear that if people really saw you, the unfiltered, unperformed, uncertain version of you, they would find something lacking, something not quite enough, something they would ultimately leave. And yet the moments you have allowed yourself to be truly seen, the moments you said something real instead of something polished, the moments you showed up as you actually were instead of as you thought you should be, those were often the moments of the deepest connection, the most meaningful recognition, the most surprising belonging. Being seen is not a risk. It is the path. I am grateful for the strength I do not always feel, because it is always present whether I feel it or not. Feelings are not facts. The feeling of weakness does not mean you are weak. The feeling of being lost does not mean you are lost. The feeling that you cannot continue does not mean continuing is not possible. Underneath the feeling, the strength remains. It has carried you through every previous moment of doubt. It will carry you through this one, and when the feeling of strength returns, which it always does, it will feel like a reunion with something that never actually left. I am grateful for the people I have not yet met who are going to change my life. They exist. Somewhere, right now, people who will become essential to your story are living their lives, making their choices, growing through their own challenges. The connection that will shift everything has not happened yet. The collaboration that will accelerate everything is still forming. The relationship that will teach you the most profound version of yourself has not yet begun. And when those connections arrive, you will not have to force them. You will recognize them, because you will have spent time like this, becoming someone ready to receive them. I am grateful for gratitude itself, because choosing it changed my life. You may have come to this practice skeptically. Many people do. It sounds simple. Too simple, like it cannot possibly be enough to actually move the needle on real-world outcomes. But the people who have practiced it with consistency and depth report the same thing. Again and again, across cultures and contexts and backgrounds, something shifts. Not immediately. not in the dramatic, visible way that makes a good story, but slowly, in the way that matters. The way you see things changes. The way you respond to things changes. The quality of your attention changes. And the quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. Gratitude is not a small thing dressed in simple language. It is one of the most powerful forces available to a human mind. And you are using it right now. I am grateful for every word of this that landed somewhere real inside me. You can feel when something is true for you. Not the kind of true that requires agreement or approval or logical verification, but the kind of true that resonates, that meets something you already know in a language you recognize. If any of these words met something real in you today, that is not an accident. You were ready to hear them. And being ready is not passive. Being ready is the result of every choice you have made to keep growing, keep questioning, keep reaching towards something more honest and more alive. That work is yours. These words simply arrive to affirm it. I am grateful for silence because within it, I remember who I actually am. Outside of every title, outside of every role, outside of every achievement or failure or opinion anyone has ever held about you. In the silence, there is something that remains completely constant, a presence that has been with you since the beginning, that has witnessed every chapter and every change and every version of you that came and went. That presence is not separate from you. It is the most fundamental version of you. And in silence, you come home to it. That homecoming is available to you right now. I am grateful for this day because it has never existed before and it will never exist again. This exact configuration of circumstances and temperature and light, and the particular feeling in your body right now, and the specific version of yourself that is sitting here listening to these words. This has never happened before in the history of the universe. It will never happen again. That is not a small thing to hold. Most days pass through us without us touching them. We move through the hours without really landing in them. And then we wonder why life feels like it is passing too quickly. It passes quickly because we were not fully inside it. Today, you are inside it. Today you are here. And being here is everything. I am grateful for morning gratitude for wealth and prosperity. Not as a destination, but as a daily practice that changes who I am. You will not feel the change every day. Some days, this will feel like going through motions. Some days the words will not land. Some days the gratitude will feel performed rather than felt. That is normal. That is human. That is not a sign the practice is not working. The practice works in the accumulation, in the direction, in the 1,000 small moments of choosing to orient toward what is real and abundant rather than what is scarce and closed. Every single one of those moments matters. Every single one of them deposits something into who you are becoming. Keep going. Even on the days it does not feel like much, especially on those days. I am grateful for who I am right now. exactly as I am, with everything that is still unfinished and uncertain and in process. You do not have to be finished to be worthy. You do not have to have arrived to deserve the good things. You do not have to have figured everything out before you are allowed to receive abundance and peace and love and all the things you keep placing just out of reach. You are worthy right now, not in the abstract, theoretical way, in the real, immediate, not conditioned Zatist way. And accepting that is not arrogance, it is accuracy. I am grateful for gratitude that creates conditions rather than simply waits for them. The most profound shift that happens in a gratitude practice is the moment you realize you are not just reflecting on reality. You are participating in creating it. The way you see the world, with eyes that look for evidence of abundance and meaning and possibility, changes what you find, changes what you attract, changes what you become available to receive. You are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active participant, and the energy you bring to each moment, the orientation of your attention, the quality of your inner conversation, these things shape what the next moment becomes. Choose gratitude, not because life is perfect, but because you are powerful enough to shape what it becomes. I am grateful for everything. Say it slowly, not as a phrase, as a declaration, as a recognition of something real. I am grateful for everything, for the beauty and the difficulty, for the clarity and the confusion, for the connections and the losses, for the progress and the setbacks, for the unexpected and the long-awaited, for the things I understand and the things that remain mysterious, for all of it, because all of it is the material from which this life is being made. And this life, exactly as it is, with all its complications and all its grace, is the one you were given, the one you were living, the one that is still being written. And it is enough, more than enough. I am grateful. I am grounded. I am ready. If these words reached something real in you today, let them stay, not just as something you heard, but as something you carry, not just as a morning ritual, but as a lens through which you see. Because gratitude is not a moment, it is a practice, not a feeling you wait for. It is a direction you choose, and when you choose it consistently, wealth and prosperity do not just become something you work toward, they become something you are already living inside of. This is your morning, this is your moment, this is your gratitude, and it is already changing everything.